Hi dancers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Claudia Dean and today we are joined here with Zoe Brady, who's 15 years of age and trains at Annette Roselli Dance Academy. Today I'm going to be taking you through a tutorial on how to master point work, and I would say that this tutorial is aimed at girls who are already on point. However, the first tip and exercise I'm going to show you is great also for girls that are thinking about going on point and who are already on point too. I know that everyone's got different opinions for when dancers should go on point. Mine is, I think between 11 and 13 is a great age, and when you do think about going on point, I'd really recommend you get a pre-point assessment just to make sure you're ready and all your muscles have maximum strength for your point work. Also, like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and also let me know below if you want to see more point tutorials. I love filming these ones too for you. So let's get into it, Zoe. The first exercise I have for you requires a TheraBand, and this exercise targets your calves and also your ankles, which is why it's great for girls who need to strengthen their point work or girls who are thinking of going on point. Now Zoe, so you've got bare feet, which is great for this exercise. Now what we're going to do, you're going to get your TheraBand, okay, and you're going to tie it to a bar, but also, as I always say, if you don't have a bar at home, you can use a table leg or also a chair leg too, something that's secure. Okay, now, so we're just going to tie this, and now you are going to face this way, and I want you to put your inside foot into the TheraBand, like so. That's it. Okay, and now pull outwards, probably about that far. The further you pull away from the bar, the more you're probably going to want to roll outwards, so it makes it more challenging. So if you're just starting out, it might be better to keep it a bit closer, but I know you're strong, so we can pull it a little bit away. Also dancers, just a quick note, as you can see we're using Zoe's inside leg closest to the bar. However, you can also do this exercise using your outside leg. So we could do this using Zoe's right leg. However, that's obviously going to pull her the other direction. I want to target Zoe's outside leg muscles here, so her outside of the calf, outside of the ankle. So that's why we're using her inside leg, but you can do it the other way if you want to. But it just depends what way your ankles roll the most. So Zoe's told me that her ankle rolls more outwards, hence why we're using this leg. If she told me that her ankle rolls inwards, I'd use the other leg. Okay, now Zoe, you're gonna lift your right leg up to here, that's it. And now all you're going to do is just 15 normal calf rises. However, you'll notice that when you have this TheraBand around your ankle, it's gonna try and really pull you towards the bar. So it's all about the resistance in this part of the ankle, the calf, the foot, all of that will be working, okay? So now just do a calf rise for me. So go up, can you feel it? Yes, that's good. Then lower down, and again, up, good, and then lower down, good. And also just a quick note, did you see that one, how your heels sort of went boom, down on the floor? If you can, try and really resist that. Imagine that there's a grape, so you know the fruit. Imagine there's a grape underneath your heel. So you don't want to squash the grape flat. You want to try and make sure you're resisting and squeezing down. So go up, and now go resist. Resist, 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 resist. Yes, perfect. Now Zoe, as you're full time and you're 15, I'd recommend you actually do 15 rises. Dancers, you can comment below on how old you are, what your training level is like at the moment, and I'm more than happy to answer how many reps you should be doing too. And also just another note too, Zoe, so obviously these are very similar to normal calf rises, okay? I would actually recommend you try and do calf rises one day and these the next, so you're alternating, because I feel calf rises, after a while your muscles, they get really used to that same old muscle memory, and you'll probably find you won't actually build muscle from doing calf rises because your body's so used to it. Whereas if you alternate between this exercise here and the calf rises, I feel like together you'll find your ankles and calves will get so much stronger. Now dancers, as you can see, Zoe now has her point shoes on, and we're gonna go through now how to do releves in first correctly. Okay, so this here, I'm gonna be teaching you what your feet should be doing in your shoe and how they should look when you releve up in first on point. Okay, Zoe, if you can just put your feet in first now. Okay, the first thing I want you to remember for me is that at no point I want your feet to leave the floor. So I want them to slide up. So a lot of dancers, they actually end up doing almost like a jump onto point, and obviously we want it to look as smooth and as seamless as possible. So if you just think of this for me, see the center line here of your foot? So it's there, and there's the center line of the other foot. Basically, I want your toes to go to that center line every single time you releve. And I'm going to show you now, in order to do that, this is the best thing to think of. If you actually just lift up your shoe for me, okay, and lift it up off the floor. Now, see this part of the shoe? So here, so right there, up to about here, I want you to imagine that that part of the shoe, that's never going to leave the floor when you do your releve. Okay, so now go to first for me. So you're going to be thinking about the toes going onto here, and you're going to be thinking about that underneath part of the shoe there, never leaving the floor. Now 1, 2, 3, go. Good. Now the hard part is coming down. So when your feet are now up and you've relevated really underneath your center line, I want you to make sure glutes here are really engaged. That's good. Now you're going to try and imagine that same shank, that part of the shoe there, once again, that's going to slide out. You might find to begin with, one foot might do more than the other. So you might find that your right foot does more slide than your left, but eventually we want to get it as even as possible. So now try and come down really thinking of sliding out. Go. That's it. Fabulous. Okay, so Zoe, now you know how to do a proper releve. I also just want you to show the audience that are watching, just so they're aware as well, what a wrong releve in first would be. So you're going to do the regular jump that I see a lot of dancers do, and basically, obviously now I'm trying to train you all to do releves correctly. So Zoe, just do one, as I said, so they can see. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh! That hurt your feet? It hurts, doesn't it? Okay, so obviously now we know how to do it correctly, and now just show me one with the toes going under and sliding up. Perfect. Now dancers, Zoe's going to demonstrate 4 releves in first correctly with some music for you, and you can follow along. Now dancers, we're going to go through how to master échappés on point correctly and also releve, retire, passe. Now Zoe, put your feet in fifth for me. With the échappé, basically, one thing I really want you to remember is the correction we did before. So this part of the shank, never leaving the floor when you do an échappé, because same thing, we don't want you to be jumping onto point for these échappés. So you're going to remember that. Also, the other thing too that I find a lot of dancers do is they use one foot more than the other. So when you go out, normally they use one foot and then come back in. So they don't use both feet evenly. So we're going to work on basically making sure that 2 feet go out evenly together. So can you put your right foot in front? And now just try an échappé for me, really thinking of both feet out together at the same time, and the underneath of the foot, the shank, never leaving the floor. Go. Good. Now coming back in. That's it. And again. Good. Very nice. And then back in. Now we're going to do our releve, retire, passe. So if you can just basically think of when you're about to lift this right leg up, I just want you to really make sure that once again on your left supporting leg, so this one here, the toes have to go underneath of the center line, purely because I want this to prepare you for turns on point later on. So Zoe, try a releve, retire, passe for me. So lifting up the right leg, and you're going to focus on that, the left toes going right under. 1, 2, 3. Good. And now passe to the back. That's it. Now try that combination again. So échappé, both feet. Good. In, both feet, and in. And now releve, retire. Good. And then under. Fabulous. So if you were to do that in the center, you'd be perfectly on balance because everything is going out evenly and you're right underneath your center line in that releve passe. Now dancers, I'm going to show you an exercise that is one of my classic Claudia Dean coaching drills. I give it to all the dancers that I coach because I know how effective it is, especially if you practice over a period of time. You'll notice your point work will really improve. I also want you to make sure you watch my turnout tutorial, just because when you start this exercise, you've got to make sure you're working all the right muscles while you're standing in first. So I'm going to link that below and make sure you watch that prior to trying this exercise. Now Zoe, so just starting with your feet in first. Now the first thing I want you to remember for this exercise, and I'm just going to summarize it all for you because I know how familiar you are with everything I'm about to say, but I just want you to make sure first of all that your ribs are relaxed and down. So to relax your ribs, as you know, we go breathe and exhale out. Go. That's it, so relaxing the ribs, perfect. The next thing I have for you is I want the center part of your chest bone to be lifting up and going diagonally forward towards the lights up there. So you can't just be lifting up because you'll fall backwards, and you can't just be pulling forward because you'll fall forwards. So you need a little bit of both to sort of counterbalance, especially for this exercise. And also the last and final thing that I have for you, just remember as you're doing this, I want you to be rising up almost towards your second toe. So don't rise up towards the big toe because you'll fall and collapse forward, and don't rise up towards the pinky toe because you'll fall back. So just keep thinking when you're rising up, you're going towards the second toe and then down, okay? Also dancers, you're more than welcome to follow along to this exercise. Let's get into it. Good, chest bone forward. Fabulous. Breathe. Good, now as you can see dancers, the reason what makes this exercise a drill is because of the speed of the music. See how controlled it is. Down. Chest bone diagonally forward. Good. Well done, Zoe. Now dancers, as you can see, if you keep working hard like Zoe has, you'll be able to master all those drills too. I hope you enjoyed the video today, dancers. There's so many more tips to come, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! And subscribe.